Good evening. Welcome to John Medeski Academy for this early evening Mother's Day fixture between the visiting Loughborough Riders and the home team Reading Rockets. My good friend Matthew Johnson with me again.
I'm not a good friend. Just go with friend.
I think we're good friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Look, again, we're kind of 5 minutes pre-tip. We've kind of had a few more topics, but we're going to cut through them. It's Mother's Day. We're here. We've been allowed out on Mother's Day. It's fantastic.
Have we been allowed out, or have we just gone out?
My wife's working.
Oh yeah, you got that one. Yeah. My wife said she's quite looking forward to it because she can do the ironing whilst watching the game.
That is not what you wanted to say on Mother's Day.
And you can't do that at Rivermead.
That's a great point.
But yeah, we should say a big happy Mother's Day to everyone.
Absolutely.
And I think fitting for us to say before the game that there's a lot of mums that are not around to join us. Mark, for you as well, and Coach Alan Keane as well lost his mum recently, and Ben Fisher, and a lot of amazing mums that have done some amazing stuff that, even though they're not with us today, we're incredibly proud and privileged to say, happy Mother's Day to all of you, and thank you for everything you do.
Absolutely. My sentiments exactly. In what is a kind of busy few minutes, we've also got Red Nose Day coming up for all the masses.
And amazing stuff, isn't it? It just seems that we're finding a way as a society, and Red Nose Day is part of all that tradition now of doing stuff for other people, and I think that is something that's catchy. And our foundation through Nick Humby was looking at trying to get some funding through that exact charity for kids in the community to get active and play sport. So thank you to them and all they've done over the years with the famous teddy bear. Not as good as our toddy bear, but they have got a teddy bear. Toddy bear, that's gonna stick, isn't it?
Not with me, it won't.
But yeah, I mean, big days. Mother's Day, Red Nose Day coming up. Loughborough in town.
Yes.
And we're here together as well.
Yeah, I'm really pumped for this. It's
going to
be a good one.
Story.
Yeah, totally. I'm really pumped for this one. Going to be a good one. Stylistically, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because Loughborough have quite a defined, kind of spread, skilled style.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rockets a little bit more set. We'll try and play a bit of bigger ball than I think the Riders will. How do you think it looks tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we're here privileged enough to watch the warm-up as well, and there's a lot to be said for Loughborough, who are pretty much nearly everyone is shooting the three. Everyone looks confident with the ball in their hands. Number of guys going athletically getting over the rim. So the way they play traditionally is they shoot a lot of threes. Coach Jeremy has them really well organised, but also they play with a sense of freedom as well. So teams like this are so incredibly dangerous to play against, because we saw this with the old Barking Abbey team before under Lloyd Gardner, and similar for James, but they would be 20 down, but it doesn't mean anything because you're 3 threes away from changing the momentum. So I think for this game is going to be a real... I don't think it'll be a clash of styles. Both coaches know each other really well, but I'm very interested to see, particularly after timeouts, small adjustments that coaches are going to be making throughout the game. I'm sure Loughborough will get on a run. I'm sure Rockets will get going. We know now, add Jazz Baines into that mix. We've got a pretty potent backcourt for both teams to enjoy. So I think this is shaping up to be an absolute belter.
Yeah, we just got some shots there of Coach Keane speaking with Latrell Maitland. He will probably feature quite significantly again today in the kind of backcourt of Reading. Who are you looking forward to seeing tonight? Like, for me, like I said, I think it's one of the first times I've seen Loughborough play in person.
Yeah.
Obviously, the return of Harrison Gamble to the junior club he grew up with. I'm really looking forward to seeing Carl Jimenez, the potential triple-double machine.
You always mention it seems like every Friday on Instagram you're talking about Jimenez and stuff like that. Good to see pass-first teams. Greg Wild's coming off a really stellar performance, and he's, I think Josh Thorne said, Wild's a real firecracker, and I think that's what an exciting statement to have about you as a young player, to be, you're at one of the best universities in the world for sports, and you're known as a bit of a firecracker. And I'm pretty sure he did all his junior basketball in Manchester as well. So a lot of these players got very good pedigree as well. So I'm really looking forward to. Both teams have got contribution now right the way through 8-9. You see Ronnie Agekwe came in. The Ronnie fan club started up, didn't it, when he was saving loose balls and doing that extra stuff. And KV last night went 7 for 7, 14 points in 16 minutes against BA. So, really interesting. And there's a number of guys to watch out for. But Harrison Gamble recently had 34. So if he gets it going at 6'10 and shooting the three as well as he is, that is an absolute matchup nightmare.
Just had a glimpse of the Rockets lineup, Rockets roster, should I say. Who are you expecting to bounce back team from a tough loss yesterday against BA, and some of the what we'll consider pro guys had a bit of a rough outing? So who are you expecting to bounce back today?
Oh, I mean, I'm always looking forward to watching Reese and Jazz and Showan and Sam Grant as well. I'm just happy to look at it. I don't think we really know. I think we'll be just happy to see what talent is on the floor from 1 to 12, and there's guys contributing all over the place.
So just looking at the Loughborough starters, it's Jimenez, Hayden, Orija, Gamble and Dietrich. On the bench for Loughborough is Belak Wild, Chester Morrell, Goodser, Intifo and Dooku, and Aputa is in 31. For your Rockets, they will start with O'Shean Williams, Reese Pinnock, Latrell Maitland, Sam Tolawase and Sam Grant. And it's Stanwell Tate, Dixon, Duru. We'll dream of a team of Agekwe's, Ronnie Agekwe in 12, KV Live 13, Satautis wears 14, and Canadian Jazz Baines wears 15. Great respect shown by the players. Taking a knee before the game, and we will go down to the floor.
Mark, just quick shout out Ali Sabai. Many a year spent with Ali here at the academy. Good to see you, Ali. And fatherhood treating you well, and Jesse Manty as well, one of the favourite coaches and talented young man himself. So good to see you all joining us as we're 75 of you early doors.
First possession with Reading. It's O'Shean handoff with Sam Grant. He turns it over, and we get the first look at the Loughborough Riders, controlled by Jimenez.
I think you're going to be
hand
saying
off to
that quite a bit.
Dietrich just looking down low to Hayden. Doesn't find him. Interesting match of this, Dietrich and Sam Tolawase.
Dietrich a real handful as well, Mark, and capable scorer and shooter, finisher, athlete, good defender, does more than his numbers say as well. Will always be playing in the main part of the game. Very reliable. Jimenez out of bounds with the back screen, and just as I said it, Dietrich misses it.
Right, he misses first. Actually leads the team with 19 points a game as O'Shean Williams gets out on the break, finds a little gap, and it's Sam Grant on the follow with the tip. Great by Sam, who's been much improved on the boards over the last 3 games.
And here's the matchup that's going to be interesting, is Latrell and Jimenez. Can Latrell disrupt Jimenez's flow? Nearly. You see Coach King wants him to deny that back, and Jimenez shows him the eyes and steps around it. Beautiful move.
Really nice move, gave him the little hesitation, and this Rocket's off and running again. This cross court to Pinnock. He goes round, Dietrich tries to drop it off to Tolawase. He does. Nice footwork inside by Sam Tolawase.
How did he get that underneath, guys?
I just don't know.
It disappeared, went through the arms. It was like Miss Popoff. 1980s references are always useful. Interesting
Gamble.
matchup here. Gamble against Pinnock in the post.
Well, look again, massive size mismatch, and it's Gamble who goes down low.
Little elbow.
Gets himself a bit of room, and it's a nice little fade from Harrison. Gamble from 8 feet. And this is Maitland pushing against Jimenez. Gets him to turn. Little push off, but gets away with one. Manages to scramble his own rebound and finds O'Shean Williams. He takes his first shot of the evening, and it's halfway down, but it's Gamble on the rebound, and the Riders are off and running. It's Jimenez bullets one lefty to Dietrich, and he makes it really nice from Jimenez to Dietrich.
And I think, Mark, something to look for is just the effort in Rockets to get back. I was talking with DC about this. Rockets' transition defense is sometimes it's position and sometimes it's just energy and just get back. Latrell got the matchup. Pinnock with the wide open 3, doesn't get it.
Nice to see Reese shooting early.
Again, transition defense. Latrell caught in the matchup against Hayden. It's going to be tough for him. And
another inside, and he goes for the dunk. He's fouled by Tolawase, but puts it in anyway, and that's a big man play down there.
And interesting, isn't it, with Rockets without traditional fives, without Leon Francis still out injured, and going with this smaller, perhaps more offensive lineup. but we're struggling at the moment to just maintain that inside presence. Harrison's caught the ball 2-3 times and got a little shot over Pinnock, and then Hayden just pins Luttrell because that's a broken matchup.
Doesn't get the bonus to go. Sam Grant clears, and it's Pinnock out on the run, probing but nothing doing this time. He's got Tolawasi on the block, but it goes to Grant. O'Shaughnessy on the back was wide open. It's a very good point. It's kicked and pointed out by the officials.
Yep. Big hello to our legend Josh Thorne, saying great to see Luttrell starting. 100 of you on the view, and
right on cue there is Luttrell Maitland with the 6-foot floater,
and Billy Beddoe in the comments as well. Great energy to this game.
Yeah, absolutely so far, and it's Jimenez again. He just blows by Maitland, who seems to have caught one in the lower groin region.
Well positioned, Mark. Well said. Yeah, and you'll see that the lower groin region, Mark. And on Mother's Day, I think that's the appropriate way to discuss such
a sensitive muscular region.
Okay, 3-point game.
Jimenez, pick and roll with Hayden, just ignores it, goes around and walks himself to the rim there, and it's Rockets wanting to push the tempo a little bit again. It's Pinnock against Dietrich, goes to Sam Grant. He likes the look of that one.
Yeah, he got good arc on that as well.
Slow to get out.
And that's Tolawasi's second foul, so that's going to see an early sub.
There's an interesting sub coming in here, Matt. It's KV Live, who had an absolute stormer of a game yesterday. Went 7 for 7 from the floor. Yeah,
and let's just see where he matches up, because I think he'll probably go on Conroy Hayden and then switch Sam Grant out. Or he might... Okay, so it's KV on Harrison, so look for Harrison to maybe step out. It's going to be an interesting matchup. KV
against Gamble.
Yeah.
Really nice move again from Harrison Gamble, who's got plenty in his offensive repertoire. He can do a lot.
And interestingly, his inside offense is nice move by Sam Grant, by the way. But interestingly, Harrison has developed more inside game to go along with this.
Finds Dietrich in the corner.
Rockets are flying in the air at the moment, jumping at lots of stuff.
Hayden from straight away at the free throw line, and it's now O'Shaughnessy and Williams back the other way. Plenty of numbers back for Loughborough.
Yeah.
Pick and roll here, it's Maitland. And it's a travel called. Sam Grant picks up his pivot foot.
But Sam likes that look, and he likes that one-on-one against Hayden out on the perimeter. It's good to see. That was something early season, Mark. I remember you picking up on wanting to see him do more of that.
Again, this is probably a better matchup for Rockets. It's Pinnock on Jimenez, which could be, I don't know if it will stay that way.
Yeah, here's the pressure.
Or if it's by design to try and keep the ball out of his hands. They
Jimenez
haven't managed
out running.
Jimenez underneath, little find. It's Hayden who picks one up against KV Live.
Yeah, but KV gets his body in there, and that's a big difference.
Yeah, he's a big body, and it's good positioning from KV. Early post against Gamble, just uses his size. Nice jump hook from the youngster. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, too early in the offense for that one, but
great hands from Pinnock, who just gets one against Arija. Maitland finds O'Shaughnessy, who goes by Gamble and one.
Yeah, tough to defend those. And as you get a good look at Coach Durham, just instructing to say, you know, we need to get under the rim. That was what it looked like. Rockets now back within 5 as 106 of you join, and welcome to Pistol Pete, Coach Allen's under-18 team manager and friend of the club, local coach at Yateley Silverbacks. His son Matthew plays under-14s with Josh Thorne. So good to see you joining us.
Jimenez again being made to work in the backcourt by Pinnock.
Yeah, interesting matchups here now when Maitland gets Dietrich.
Going little cross screen, no switch there. It's KV, and it's a really low catch for Gamble. He'll find plenty of room to get in there.
Well defended again, Mark. Yeah, and you know, KV down, much better interior defense, one-on-one, no need to help. Sam Grant gets his hands on that. Unfortunate not to just rip. They nearly had that away, and Rockets could have been out on the break there.
Yeah, wanted to unload that earlier, Sam Grant. Didn't have a good option, so
Yep.
Makes sense. And here's Gamble.
Tough one for that one.
Little screen and doesn't get that one to go short.
Yeah.
It will stay with Rockets, this one.
Yeah, and that's a tough matchup when they're screening the big, like as Harrison as the 5, when they're screening him to go to the corner for that 3. Rockets are going to have to be really careful of that later on, because that's a really easy shot for Harrison.
Rockets out of their diamond set, looking for Pinnock. It's thrown away, and that is
one to watch out for. The Loughborough defence on the wing, just switching between the guards. So Rockets are going to need to really have a look at that.
Yeah, perhaps that's something you can draw up for us a bit later on, Matt, as they seem to be denying that first option with a switch.
Yeah,
it certainly slows up Rockets' offense, and maybe there's an alternative. Dietrich with a foot inside, won't get that one to go, and it's rebounded by Conroy Hayden. This is Jimenez and Pinnock.
Yeah, important for Pinnock to keep his feet here. Screen rejected. Harrison.
Gamble deep.
Yeah,
not this time. KV gets a hand on it, and it's ripped by
Williams.
The guy can really sky at times, can't he?
Yeah, I think he was at 16 foot when he touched that.
So, first, or more subs for the Rockets. It's 4:26 to go in the quarter. Loughborough lead this one 15-11.
Nearly 120 of you joining us. Thank you very much.
Chuck Dury being told to tuck in his shirt.
I hope you're watching it with your mothers today.
Yeah. Dixon also in for Reading. This is Gamble.
Yeah, and here's that screen that they've switched. KV needs to get this one back, and he does.
Dietrich and Pinnock in this mid-block.
Dietrich, tough shot though. Great defence by Pinnock.
4-on-4 going the other way. Pinnock will push
Pinnock
the tempo.
Puts on the gas, gets fouled. Offensive foul.
Always a little bit difficult there.
Yeah.
Just seeing that into the game is subs for Loughborough.
But there's a difference, Mark, right? Rockets defensively a lot more assured now in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Able to rebound and run. At 2 or 3 good half attempts.
It's
Chuck Duru.
Greg Wild into the game. Greg Wild into the game for Loughborough, Matt.
Yeah. And keep an eye on that.
Little fade screen. It's Hayden and
Jimenez looking to finds Gamble. Finds Wild. Rockets are matched up. Jimenez. And that's the tough one. You got Conroy Hayden there, and after the switch got caught against Pinnock. So can Rockets make something happen here to punish that matchup?
Good screen with KV and Dixon. It's O'Showen, and it's a made 3 from the left wing. O'Showen Williams.
Yeah, and O'Showen's going to really have to punish that matchup, because it's going to be really difficult.
More fade screens from Loughborough, and it gets Gamble wide open. This time replied with a left wing 3 of his own. Yeah,
that's that pick and pop, and that's a really good way to use Harrison. There's Williams right back at him.
Here we go.
Here we go.
We've gone 3-3-3 last 3 possessions. Let's see what Loughborough bring this time. Does this one get an interesting?
We probably mentioned there'd be quite a few threes.
We did. This is Wild. Managed to get himself in the paint. Hayden down low. They're trying to skip to Gamble. They don't get it there. This stays with Duru and Dixon in the middle of the floor. No numbers, and it's just about get through to Pinnock.
Now this is where
Duru down the lane. Lays it in. Beautiful with the finger roll. It's a 1-point ball game. 2:37 to go.
Yep. There's that pick and pop again. Wild comes off it.
And
it is a little wild for his first one.
Crikey. I was nearly broken the backboard.
I remember you shooting a number of them, Mark.
Never that badly. Anyway, here we go. KV live, swings to Pinnock.
Yeah, good minutes from KV.
Yep, absolutely.
Foul on the arm, not called.
Always difficult, those ones, because it's very unlikely that at this level someone shorts it by that much.
Yeah.
Pick and pop again. It's Gamble. He's already got his eye in, and it's going to keep going. This is not the guy you want to get going at all.
Hopefully he cools down a bit in the second half. Second quarter, second minute.
KV looking for a handoff with Dixon.
Yeah.
Dixon just goes screen and roll. Wild will go under it. O'Showen on the quick closeout.
Yeah.
Not enough room there.
Great box out by Hayden.
What a find that is.
And another great challenge by Dixon, by Pinnock.
So
Rockets need one now.
Have I ever mentioned he's a chase down block specialist? Nice up and under from O'Showen Williams with the near hand.
It's just not even up and under, it's just under.
Just very tricky finish, isn't it? It's really good to see.
Let's see what Rockets can do in these when they're getting gamble in these screens.
Dietrich on the curl, and he makes an easy one.
Yeah, and you can see, for those of you that are seeing it, tough one. When you see Dietrich and Gamble on the away from the ball in this screen, but away from the ball, it's really interesting because they're both so dangerous that Rockets have got to decide how they're going to guard that.
Subs coming in for both teams. It's Satautus and Jazz Baines in for Rockets, and for Loughborough and Dooku now on the floor.
Yeah.
Aputa on the floor as well.
Yeah, good on-ball defence by Williams. He's trying to extend the first catch.
Also Goodser on the floor for Loughborough.
Yeah, there's a switch. Again,
tough matchup.
Yeah, because Williams switched it in the pick and roll with Chuck, and it was too early. So Chuck now. Nice cut by Satautus, foul called.
Yeah, David Aputa making the best of that mismatch on the other end. Pinnock just taking a seat over there on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, and Matthew Armstrong and Ben Lander both want to shout out to Ben Fisher and Phil Easton at the Stats boys.
Nice move from Dixon, too heavy on the finger roll.
Got to finish that one. 6 down into the last 30 seconds. Loughborough team dangerous. They're on course at the moment for over 100. Satautus just stands up, gets his first rebound, shuffles it to Jazz.
It was Victor and Dooku on the three. Baines wide open, Duru wide open. He takes his time. That one halfway down again, doesn't go. And that will do us. And it was so quick, I didn't have any idea of the score.
27-21. And, wow, I mean, we thought that there was going to be a lot of shots, didn't we? We thought this was going to be a perimeter-based game. I think slight advantage Loughborough in getting probably what they wanted in that quarter, but really good fight by Rockets, I thought, to sort of stay in this when Harrison's making 2 or 3 threes like that and can shoot over the top of you. I think it's going to be a tough matchup. So it'll be interesting to see now when we come out of this 2 minutes where the coaches have got time to reset, to have a look at how Mark Jeremy is going to look at stopping maybe the one-on-one stuff that Rockets had a bit more penetration we saw from Ben Dixon right at the end there, but also how are Rockets going to cope with the Harrison Gamble screen? Are they going to keep switching it? If they switch it, can they then get back the matchups? Because it's probably hurt them for about 6 points, I would have said. Yeah,
and just thinking, I didn't know if you wanted to draw something up now, either on the Loughborough switching or the offensive screen, but should we start with the defensive end for Loughborough and how they're switching screens on the whiteboard?
Yeah, I mean, if we can get it, I think what's really interesting, we're going to see on the opposite side of the floor, you're going to see Rockets with their guards, and whenever there's some sort of screen action between them, Loughborough are really easily able to just stay at home on that. They're really easily able to just switch it. So Rockets are going to have to decide what's happening. So keep an eye out on what you see from Pinnock and O'Showen Williams and Ben Dixon on this side. And you'll generally see the Loughborough guards here. We've thrown it out of bounds once, trying to get this guy on the little back cut. So it'll be interesting to see if there's no post area here, that Rockets might be able to back cut from this one and find some inside layups for some of the perimeter guys against this switch. So just keep an eye on the opposite side of the floor.
We'll go back to you periodically, Matt, for your coaching insights. Well, I said it might be good to see the ball screen, fade screen they've got going on the offensive end.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's getting the likes of Harrison Gamble and Jonas Dietrich wide open.
Yeah. And we've got David Wisson says, let's go Loughborough, let's go Harrison. Lewis champion, the whiteboard. I love Lewis. You've probably seen me drawing a whiteboard a few times since you were about 10. So amazingly, you're paying attention now.
Never did growing up.
I think he did, otherwise he wouldn't be playing as well as he is.
Oh, that's a big compliment for yourself.
Thank you.
Right, back to it.
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah, and Williams just missed Jazz Baines wide open. but found Ben Dixon for an 8-footer. Good start. So this is that real like small unit for Rockets here with Chuck Duro at the 4 Satautas at 5. So we'll see a lot more chasing off the screens. That's okay. That's a good matchup for Dixon.
As Victor Nduku just uses his body and just barrels his way to the rim.
And that's close to an offensive foul because Dixon gets his body in a really good place. So Coach Keane might not be too worried about that one.
Williams.
Yeah, just mishandled it.
Trying to go at Kanu Goodser, doesn't go. It's Duru.
Yeah,
He'll go the other way against Nduku and just uses the move back on him.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we've broken matchups now. Got them back. And Rockets in a mess defensively and get punished for the 3. I think Mark had half of them in zone, half of them in man. Not sure.
Certainly was a bit disjointed. I think on the last play it was David Aputa that went inside. It was my mistake. Anyway, this is Dixon. There's the back cut. Matt, it's like you drew it up.
Yeah.
Did you draw up the foul afterwards or not?
No. In fact, I didn't draw that one up because that was with the post strong side.
But it was pretty much. Don't downgrade it. You did a good job of drawing it up.
Yeah.
In the corner.
Good rebound to Tautas. He's off on the break. And Williams with the gas goes up strong into the trees. I'm not sure there's anyone better at finishing over the top, but this is the difficulty that Rockets have faced when Williams, who's so good at getting to the bucket, but then he takes himself out of transition.
And that was Belak in the corner before that on the 3, who is a very, very specialist three-point shooter.
Yeah.
Can really fill it up. That was David Aputa on the foul.
And Billy, you can definitely get the shorts and Gila analysis coming at halftime. That's the fashion show. In fact, it won't be going at this halftime because it's Todd Talks at halftime. And the guest today is very special. Is my man Mark Halewood, sat next to me. So make sure you stay for that one because you think you know the voice.
Now it's time to know the man.
Yeah. Satautas.
Yes, Satautas. Got his feet stuck. Should have just gone up with it on the near side, but good to see.
But Mark, that's just experience. That's all that is.
Yeah,
he'll watch that back and he'll see that there's a jump hop to be finished in there and a little lefty hook. But really good to see Jacob there, like continuation of the dribble. We talked about Jacob before. Danny Carter's, real fan of Jacob and also of KV Live, and quite right too.
Duru goes to the line. Thank you everybody for joining us, all 138. I feel like we should be getting these numbers up to the 200s. This is going to be a good game today.
Yeah,
if you're into basketball at all, or if you are a particular fan of NBL Division 1 action, you need to be here today. This is going to be one of the better games of the afternoon.
Absolutely. Duru quietly got himself 6 points in about 6 minutes.
Good to see. David Aputa goes out and it's Harrison Gamble in.
Yep. Offense in.
Instant offense in.
And here's that half-court screen as well. Look at this. It's quite interesting. We haven't seen that for quite a few years, really. Much better perimeter defense. Belak goes out. Dixon. And
I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm not unhappy with the play.
Yeah, good defense.
He's come over too far.
Yeah,
but the rotation is right there.
Good offense, good defense. And I think as well, Mark, we actually do have hovering to the left of us the mighty Richard Stokes, who is head of EuroLeague referees. And I was talking to him before the game and how great it is that referees are able to see the game so quickly. They can watch each other live. If you're a referee and you're watching, just drop us a comment as well so we know that's helpful. There's Gamble again, gets to that spot.
I've seen him go through 4 biros already over there. He's gone through loads.
Biros. You know that Richard Stokes uses a fountain pen.
Sorry about that. He's writing in calligraphy. Carl and Tifo's checked in for... Oh, that's just easy for Chuck. He's just going to barrel Harrison Gamble out of the way, but doesn't get the finish. And Tifo hands off to Jimenez. It's Belak in the one corner, Dietrich in the other corner. I mean, there are some serious weapons on the floor here for Loughborough.
Yeah.
Jimenez gets himself in the paint. Nice little pivot. And we will see a time out by Coach Alan Keane.
And I think we're going to see a Gekwe come in as well, Mark. I think we're going to see Ronnie Gekwe probably for Satautas. It'll be really interesting to see at the end of this minute how because I'm sure that this is going to have to be on that ball screen between Jimenez and Harrison Gamble, and I'm sure we're going to see what Coach Keane is looking at, whether we switch it or whether he stays underneath it or whether he tries to chase over or what he does with Jimenez. I think if it was me to start with, I'd be going under and just until Jimenez makes a few and just stay with Gamble. Gamble's already must have 10, 12 points of this team's 36. So danger is in number 12 white at the moment. So let's keep an eye on that one.
And very familiar to us here at Reading as we... you coached Harrison in a good part of his junior career.
Yeah.
And I got the pleasure of assisting Samet when he was here, and Harrison was on the senior team then.
I can even roll this clock back for you. Harrison came from Woking Blackhawks in the Central Venue League as a 16-year-old. Then he came and we took him to Cherbourg when he went to the academy, and he made his first ever three-pointer in Cherbourg, and he came to the bench and went, I've never shot one of them before. And now look at him.
Great to see. O'Showen Williams leads all scorers here today with 13. It is Harrison Gamble with 12.
Yep, two games. Oh, there you go. Rebound basketball blog.
Carl Jimenez already up to 5 assists on the evening.
Yeah, I think Josh Thorne is saying that someone needs to nail Jimenez.
Here's a Gekwe.
Yeah.
He'll find Baines. He's chased over a screen by Jimenez. It's Dixon wide open, goes at Belak. Great defence by John Belak.
Yeah, and they need to... Rockets need to attack with advantage. Too difficult for them to attack just in that static one-on-one. So they've got to come off screens ready.
Dietrich goes over the top to Antifo. Yeah. Nice by Jazz Baines, who just sits down and he believes it's off the hand of Antifo.
Yes. No
strongly.
Jazz Baines is saying, I've never got anywhere near it, ref.
I believed his conviction. And it's Absolutely. Baines out as quickly as he was in. Again, it'd be good to hopefully get Jazz back in quite quickly. Had a decent 12 yesterday against Barking.
Yeah.
Dietrich looking for the early slip on the inbounds.
Interesting now because Rockets have got
shot clock down to 3.
Very few guys that have scored out in this group. Now just 2 of them.
Very small lineup as well for Rockets. Biggest guy on the floor is Ronnie Agekwe as Chuck pulls it again, and he's building himself a nice little quarter here in the second.
Yeah, and really well found as well. Found that little seam, that 15-footer. He shoots that really well. Agekwe against Gamble. Harrison Gamble.
This is a great matchup to see for the young
man.
Ronnie
can't get too close to him, otherwise
nice
that
spin,
happens.
And there you go. And Harrison will be disappointed he doesn't finish that.
Yeah.
I always like to see stuff like this because, you know, being around the likes of Harrison as kind of a 19, 20-year-old, and then seeing the likes of Ronnie defend him as a 17, 18-year-old just shows what the strength of the academy here for one.
Yep.
And the strength of the alumni of Rockets in general.
Yeah, and I think on that one, this is the beauty of getting all these games live, Mark, isn't it? Because you're a young player at an academy or you're coming through junior ranks as Gamble. Doesn't look as though he's going to miss a shot in this century. But as you start looking at that, you'll be able to see and scoot back through it and see how you defend. You can't defend with your body on a post guy because you're just going to spin off you. So you need to protect your feet and you need to get some distance between yourself. Little press breaker for Rockets.
Almost a little bit tokeny there from Loughborough.
Yeah.
Pinnock wide open, doesn't take it. Tolawase on the foul line gets guys up in the air, and he likes that little move down the middle.
Yeah, he does. Just jumps across the defender and puts it in one of his huge hands. And now this is Tolawase's in for Gamble, right? On the Gamble matchup. So let's just see what they do there. And I think because Tolawase was in, he scared the Riders. Just he scared him and he dropped it out.
Presence was enough. Think about this. We'll come back to it. This half-court screen that Loughborough do.
Yep.
Is it tactical? Like, is it something? Like, what are they trying to get out of it? Tolawase wide open. Give that some thought while we just see Chuck Duru hasn't missed a whole lot. Well, he deserves to shoot that one. Chased down by Tolawase, and it's O'Showen with the moves. Puts one on Tifo and buries it.
What a shot! And you're seeing, Mark, the evolution of like an import player as well.
Yeah, and this is
Yeah, so Sam T is staying. Good defence there. Yeah, much better, Mark. Much better. Sam Tolawase comes in, just pushes a few screeners out the way.
Yeah, certainly a different dynamic with Sam on the floor. He's a veteran. He's a strong body.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's gonna fight over screens a little bit tougher than some of the younger guys will.
You just joined us. We're over 150 now, 151. Happy Mother's Day.
I don't want to have to tell you off to get watchers to come, but I will do.
Better defence again from Rockets on that switch.
Belak this time. He's in and out, and he can as Hayden pulls it down and just puts that in.
Just keep an eye on that because Tolawase's got to be careful there. He's on 2 fouls coming back in with 4 minutes to go.
It's Duru through Williams.
I think Williams wants the ball a lot now.
Yeah, he's got his eye in. Nice
absolutely.
fire. That's much better from Rockets. Much better.
Yeah. Again, the evolution of the import player, and you see Williams more as a 2 than as a 1. As he scampers around behind the ball, and Rockets get another turnover
violation. As the unbiased commentators over here.
Great shot of Coach Duram there, just saying 2 hands down to the floor, calm down, everyone calm down. And Coach Keane marshalling his troops. Is that what they say now? You don't marshal your troops, do you? We're not in the army. Why do we still have military references?
I don't know.
There's no marshalling and there's no troops.
There are none, but
why don't you stop me saying stuff like that?
Well, I'm just glad you're not saying things like bish, bash, bosh. So, to be honest, I'll take that.
You wait till KV comes in and makes one, though.
Williams jab step, gets himself a little bit of room, and it's Gamble that will clear, and it could be off and running here for Loughborough. They are. It's 3v2. People catching up. Arija gets
confidence.
his feet set. And well, you can get your feet set when Conroy Hayden cleans up and finds Jimenez with the 12-footer.
Yeah. Jimenez, Tolawase just being a menace, and now we've got the switch. They go away from it.
Are they passing out that switch too early? You get a good matchup. Nice cut by Pinnock, but you get such a good matchup, and then you throw it back into a worse matchup.
Yeah, but we just scored, Mark. So
sorry about that.
We're on Rockets YouTube here.
All right, I won't be objective. And this is Williams and Dietrich.
Yeah,
Hayden will find a tougher matchup with Chuck on him.
Yeah,
he gets right under his chin.
Yeah, good. Can they stay matched up 1-on-1? Jimenez throws it up. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I mean, it's a really special move. Dixon down the middle, just got to finish that one off.
Yeah. The problem is he shaved his beard.
Don't want to do that during lockdown. Skip to Jimenez. He's made his last one, and he would just front rim one.
That's you can't go. I mean, that's a tough one. Tolawase's done well, I think, to keep himself measured. And someone goes over the back of your head.
I think I can see the biro going over here as well. Just noticed. He's writing someone's name down.
Oh dear.
Totally joking. I shouldn't do this stuff. But remember, I'm not.
And there's that corner, and
he's got a foot inside. And does it matter? Does it matter?
No, and that's and those things look really simple, and they're not. You're talking about a matter of your positioning over a matter of about 1.5 foot, getting that right. And Tolawase would be frustrated at himself for that.
Williams gets a paint touch, finds Maitland. He front rims that one quite heavily, and Gamble will pull down another rebound, and it's Loughborough off and running with the wily Jimenez. Goes high screen and roll with Gamble.
Yeah.
Arija on the left will look for Hayden, doesn't get it. Jimenez again thinks about it, gets Tolawase in the air, but he recovers. Still a nice paint touch.
What a move.
Steps through it. So good from Kyle Jimenez.
Yeah, and in a close game, it's just given Loughborough a little 8-point. Tolawase gets hit.
Tons of contact. Pinnock wide open.
Just misses it. Sam Grant gets his hand on it as well, and Jimenez is off and running.
Rockets a little flat over this last kind of minute and 30.
Long two.
Jimenez with a rebound himself. Going back to the pivot, who is very comfortable in. It's Dietrich this time. Hammered by Pinnock, but not called.
Yeah, and I think when
another
they see that one again,
they are chucking it right now.
And you've got, unfortunately, you've got Maitland and Ashow and Williams had already gone. So they're thinking about transition offense.
Dietrich on the cut, Tolawezi wide open,
again,
he misses.
Poor minute there, Mark, from Rockets.
Absolutely, about minute 45 it's just been not very good because they got it within 2.
Yeah,
I was just signalling to you off camera that they've just clawed it back from being about 6 to 8 down, and now it's opened up to 10 again.
Yeah, and it's this continuous stuff there where you've got Williams. You've got Michelle Williams gambling on that back side of that ball there, which gives them the 5-on-4.
And it opens up to 12 as Hayden throws it down.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting because Williams could be such a strong defender, but it's allowing his guy to beat him and then trying to reach to try and disrupt it. And I think that's about the 3rd or 4th. But that's really difficult with guys as quality as Jimenez and as dangerous as Loughborough. You've got to keep Loughborough outside you and challenge them so you're in a good position to rebound as well. Because very quickly it's a 12-point game.
Yeah, just very, very impressed with the movement of Loughborough. I don't know if you saw the last one. It was actually a miss from Dietrich. I didn't see he was on the dive, but it was a drive from the right side. The wing guy dives, takes 2 guys with him, leaves the corner guy who just lifts up a little bit and he's wide open. But it's just that's that little extra, isn't it? Because normally you tend to see a little bit of there's a drive and 2 guys wait on the perimeter, but they've got one guy diving, causes all kinds of chaos. One guy just lifts and he's wide open. So yeah, just really nice to see.
And you've got to be really good on the scout, but that is that's only happening after a breakdown as well. So you've got to be able to keep guys in front of you, and Coach King will be talking about that consistently in the ball screen, in the one-on-one. Get the guy outside you. The only guy that has shot over anyone so far is Harrison Gamble. And then, you're going to have to live with that. That's just some of that is really good basketball as well, and really high-level talent. But in terms of the rest of them, you're looking at very few other guys have made shots after he started to dribble and had to back up. So Coach will want to keep Loughborough. We'll see. We should see now. This is a very perimeter-orientated Rockets team with Sam T at the 4 and Sam G 4 and 5 between them. So good skill level. No subs that time for either team into the last minute. Both teams with 2 fouls.
Get your thoughts together before the Todd Talks halftime show, and it's Tolawezi on the drive, and that'll be an easy foul to call.
Yeah, and I'm not recalling many free throws too many from either team, Mark.
Easily less than 10 each, maybe even less than 6 each.
Yeah, and I think Rockets yesterday maybe only went to the line 3 times in the whole game or something.
Yeah, well, they didn't go at all in the first half, which was a bit of an alarming stat, I think, if you're Coach Keane. But again, they have made some trips to the free throw line today, which is slightly better.
Yep. Tolawezi for 2. Okay, Rockets up the floor a bit. Turn a bit of pressure.
2-2.
And it's in this situation now where they've got to get matched up and keep them outside them. Rockets have still got 2 fouls to give, Mark, as well. Let's see if we've got anything from there.
In the zone, they should get the last shot here as Dietrich goes baseline, defended well by Tolawezi. Maitland out on him, and it's the pick and pop again. It leaves Gamble wide open. 1 extra to Dietrich. And that's nice basketball from the Loughborough Riders.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having 2 guys that are really dangerous from that spot. And Williams wants to answer it, but doesn't.
So early.
Yeah, and that means it's going to give another shot for Loughborough, and they're out on a run. And there you go. And that's a poor shot from Williams to end that half. And that's disappointing. Just clock and game management, Mark. That's gone from 2-point down to 15 down in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I have to have a little look at what the score runs did, but that has really opened up. And again, I think Loughborough are playing good ball, don't get me wrong. I think they're playing good basketball as we get a decent shot of the guys heading to the locker room. But again, I think Rockets really hurting themselves, right, Matt?
Yeah, and there's some times as well where there's some really together performance. We saw the defence, like the first 2 minutes for Rockets was really not where it needed to be. And they get themselves sorted out, come out, and then the game is just going toe to toe, like punch for punch, and it looks like it's a really, really good game. And then 2 or 3 changes, and the defence seems to collapse, and suddenly poor shot after poor shot in a row, and you start to find the cracks then on that Rockets team for offensively, where they're becoming worried and they're trying to shoot the ball way too early, rather than finding if your team's been scored on 2 or 3 times in a row, you've got to get an inside touch. I had 1 set of free throws by Sam Tolawezi, and I'm sure the guys will be talking in the change room now saying, guys, if we're getting on a run against us, we have to stop it not by just shooting the 3 and shooting early. We've got to get it inside unless you've got someone who's like Harrison Gamble, who's just unconscious, well, yeah, but he's not on your team. So you've got to make sure that you're getting it to the right guys at the right spots for shots that they normally make. And that's something that I think the three coaches down there will be talking about.
I think you can see it too, like the evolution of the import. And again, O'Shawn Williams, talented guy, but completely loses track of time and score at the end of the game. They could have killed it off last possession, doesn't. They go the other way, easy layup. But look, there's no time for you to tell us anymore.
No, I know.
Have a half-time break, have a tea, have a coffee.
And
is that available today? Or?
Get right back here in about 1 minute for Todd Talks.
So we will catch everybody in about 1 minute, and I'll be back. You can learn about me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God, it's exciting.
Here we go.
Thanks, guys. See you in about a minute.
Hi everyone, Todd Lindley here. Before we go on to the half-time show, here's a few words about what's going on in Reading from our Head of Community, Steph Johnson.
Hi everyone, Steph Johnson here with a quick Rockets community update. So this week we finally got back into our schools doing some face-to-face delivery, which was really lovely, and got our mentoring programme up and running as well, which was great. Some of us have been out doing COVID testing to help in the schools just to get their kids back in safely. So slightly different delivery, but still lovely to be engaging with our local community. So like many of you, we're all gearing up for the 12th of April where we can really get everything running and really get those kids back. And that's really exciting for us because that'll be day one of our official 1,000 Smiles project. So we've got 4 of our 10 hubs starting that week, with a 5th one due to start before the summer holidays. So fingers crossed, all going well, no more lockdowns. We will have half our 1,000 Smiles project up and running by the summer. So really exciting, a lovely thing to get our teeth into when we've had so much downtime and so much Zoom time. It's a really great project to get involved with. We've got some funding and some sponsors already on board, which has given us a real lift. So really for all of you that are getting ready to get your community programs up and running again from the 12th. I wish you all the luck in the world. I hope you have a great time seeing your kids, and hopefully this momentum can keep going and no more stoppages or lockdowns come in. So good luck, guys.
Thank you, thank you, Steph. That was all great to hear, and hope you viewers at home enjoy what we're trying to do in Reading at the moment. And welcome, Mark, to the show. You're a debut, isn't it?
I'm delighted.
On what you might have now called Todd Talks, which is interesting.
Yeah, sorry about that.
What are your thoughts of the game so far, Mark? What have you seen from the commentary box?
I think it's been really interesting. It's been so flowing that you haven't seen Rockets be down 8, get it within 2, then have a really bad last 3 minutes, and now it's 15. It's that kind of game. I think Loughborough do some really, really interesting things. Their movement off the ball is very good, and they've got a lot of guys that can score from outside. They've shot about 400 threes so far. But they're doing really good. Great to see Harrison Gamble, who I know well, back, and he's scoring well. I think it's going to be interesting. I think if Rockets can lock down a little bit on defence and get it a bit closer, just be aware, time and score, then I think it becomes probably a closer game, and we'll hopefully get ourselves into a nice end game.
Yeah, I mean, it started off really close. I mean, we were in a very close game. I thought, okay, it's going to be a good game, like really tight in the end, and then, as you say, it just slipped to the end for the Rockets. What, other than the freeze, is there anything else Rockets can do, like just to lock up?
Defensively, it's probably the big problem, is that there's a lot of actions and a lot of movement from Loughborough. They don't just do one thing. There's screens and there's slips and there's, I just said on the last bit of commentary, one guy drives, another guy dives, it takes a few guys with him, and then another person just lifts wide open. That type of thing. It means you've got to guard multiple things on multiple actions, and Rockers really have to sit down and do that and defend every bit of the action. They can't be lazy. They can't go under screens. They're going to have to fight over them, fight really tough. If they can do that, disrupt Loughborough a little bit, I think they'll be okay. But again, I think the more Loughborough get rhythm threes, could be a bit of a long night.
And when you say that about the Rockets, who do you think Coach Keane's looking on, and like in that dressing room say, right, well, I need you to step up right now? Who do you think he's looking on?
I mean, probably early on the guards. I think the guard, they've got Kyle Jimenez, who does a very, very good job from the point guard position. I say it a lot. I think he's, for someone who's very good, is underrated. But yeah, probably the guards, they need to stay in front. Matt mentioned it, O'Shea and Williams reaching a couple of times, getting beaten by defenders. I just don't think you can do that with this type of team in Loughborough, because they punish you, and they punish you big with threes. I think you have to be honest, sit down and actually just defend one-on-one, man-to-man, take a bit of pride in your kind of personal matchup and make sure you win it. I think they'll have to do that second half if they want to get close.
So all about just win to win those man-to-man, and then SEO close the game afterwards.
Absolutely.
I mean, we talk about, we hear you every week, Mark. We're just going to move on slightly. We hear from the man behind. We're going to hear about the man behind the voice. I mean, Mark's been volunteer for years now at Rockets, haven't you, Mark? Just doing a bit of commentary here and there, a bit of coaching as well. Yeah,
coaching, commentary. I've done I've sort of been on and off, I guess, over the last, decade or so now. However long I've been back in England. So yeah, a decade of kind of being a bit on and off with a few different projects. Commentary and the kind of guys that I've been working with are people that we've brought to. I was working with previously in another capacity in football and brought to Reading, and it's worked really well, and they've been well received. So I think, I've done a bit of everything, primarily coaching for kind of the first half of that decade of volunteering, and probably doing random other stuff for the second half of the decade I've been here.
I mean, you say that about coaching as well. You got the Henley project, weren't you, for a while, and then moved over to the commentary. Which has been most exciting for you?
I don't know if I could pick either. It's coaching. I really love it, and there'll be people on the stream, the likes of Thorny, who I've coached with at the South England team and done a few other bits with, who regularly say you need to hurry up and get back into coaching, because I think I did all right out of it. I had a really good group at Henley in my final year there, who had a few things not kind of happened in my personal life. We were on our way to a Final Four. We got down to a kind of Final 8, but we probably would have got to a Final Four. I think it might have been around a tiny bit longer. But yeah, like that group was really good. I like the kind of competitive edge of coaching. I've coached with Fish, I've coached with Matt, I've coached with Thorny. I've pretty much anybody who's anybody around here, I've done something with them. The commentary's just been a funny old transition, right? Because I did it one week with Rao at football, and we did it retrospectively. Like I commentated on a filmed game that I'd already watched. It was bad. It was really bad. It was so bad, but people really liked it. It was like, yeah, I like having commentary. So we thought, right, let's see how we can develop it, and then kind of done the shift from football back into basketball, which has been really good because it's a game that I naturally know better. So yeah, I don't know if I could choose. I like the excitement of both, if I'm being honest.
It's an interesting transition as well, because you went to America as well to study psychology, wasn't it, at the Wesley College? I mean, go from...
Tell you what, you've done some research.
I've done a little bit of research. I was like, oh, let's just click on his LinkedIn and see what happened.
Yeah. It's pretty well updated, my LinkedIn, to be fair.
It's a very interesting profile. How did you go from, out of interest, from studying psychology into sports coaching and then media career?
So I went and played basketball at Division 3 Wesley College for about 3 years, not getting too far into it, suffered kind of crazy burnout from just hooping for like the best part of 15 years, every day, all day. So then I remember one conversation with my professor was like, yeah, in psychology you've got to do about 10 to 15 years work before you ever get recognised, and I thought, oh great, I know this in year 4 of my degree, this is a really stupid thing to do. So I really like psychology, but I wasn't going to do it for sort of 15 years to be any good at it. I then went on to do a master's degree at Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU, who are a enormous powerhouse in basketball, probably top 50-ish in America. Was around the programme there when Shaka Smart was there, who took an 11 seed to the Final Four, which is kind of unheard of in the conference tournament. So yeah, sort of shifted from psychology back into sports management, then coached at an academy in the US, and then came home. So there's no real reason other than I just didn't want to do psychology anymore, so I went back into sport.
He was like, no, I can't be bothered to wait 15 years.
Pretty much.
And so you've come back to England, and you're doing all this for the Rockets as well. What's the new project? I hear there's a new project for the players, from the players. Is that you're leading up, I hear? Yeah,
we're just sort of getting to the end of it, and Matt will moan at me because I've been supposed to be doing a bit of a write-up that I haven't done for most of the week. I mean, I do generally work a full-time job alongside doing all this stuff. So, from the players, for the players, we're looking for kind of annual donations, funding from guys who are connected to basketball, connected to the programme, especially, completely focused on Rockets alumni, to try and get a fund together that's going to be completely ring-fenced just for playing and coaching. So it's not going to fall into like a general fund. It's not going to go, to put some support together for the final presentation. Even it's nothing to do with that. It's just about getting guys who are connected with the programme back re-engaged, putting their hand in their pocket and donating a bit of money per year so we can really up what we're doing on the coaching and playing side. It will simply fund either more coaching hours, more coaches, however you put it that way. We'll find ways to pay good coaches to come in and be here more permanently, or it gets spent on recruiting better players, better pros, and overall we'll just grow the playing side of what we're doing here at Reading.
Well, that's a great way to transition into the second half. Thank you ever so much, Mark, for joining me.
I appreciate it. Anytime. I've got lots of stories if you ever want to talk.
Lots of stories. We'll save them for next time.
Sounds good.
So here we go. We'll be joined back by Matt and Mark for the second half.
Our gyms generate electricity when you exercise. We use this energy for charging phones and lighting spaces. We also plant a tree for every piece we install, and we've even made a gym from recycled aerosol cans.
We've done a lot in the last 10 years, but the best is yet to come. Our gyms will support ocean cleanups and tree planting programs to protect the environment.
The Great Outdoor Gym Company aims to be the greenest and greatest gym chain in the world.
Let's make a difference.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
We're in! We're in!
So we are back. Matt, you've had a nice half-time break. I've not.
A lovely cup of coffee, Mark.
I've been working hard as per usual. Great to be on Todd's half-time show. I feel quite privileged actually to be even asked.
Yeah, you're one of the early guests of Todd Talks.
I presume it's not really been done on order of preference, more on order of availability.
You said it, mate.
Yeah. Look, we're back into this one. Loughborough lead it 57-42.
Yeah, let's just jump in quickly, Mark, because Loughborough on course has got 120, right? And that's that tells a story. And this Rockets team is fine. And again, there you go. There's the reach that Williams tries to go for. Loughborough too good for it. Find the shooter in the corner, and they get an open shot snagged by Williams. But they've got to really sort out that defence. Sam Grant gets a good look at that one. It looks short from here and is.
Yeah, just good to see if Rockets, as they've come out with the energy again, but putting together 20 minutes of that is really, I just said it to Todd, it's the defensive end of the ball. They've just got to be tough for longer.
There's that screen. KV comes and claims it. And good to see KV starting as well. I think he deserved that start. He's done really well. Maybe not on the offense, but has done really well securing rebounds.
Yeah, he's doing his job.
Yeah,
knows his role, doing his job.
There's that switch, and there's the back cut we talked about.
Pinnock will get inside quite easily as O'Shea and Williams.
Yeah, KV's going to shoot that little baby.
I like this KV.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was down. I got excited. I thought it was halfway down.
Yeah, and there's a difference, Mark, isn't it? Like, we've seen one good defensive possession by Rockets, and we've seen two bad ones. And again, they can't come out. Rockets cannot come out and trade with this team. They are going to have to focus defensively whilst getting stops.
KV again left open there. It's Sam Grant.
And we're into that static.
Yeah, getting stuck
again. The advantage is gone.
KV's clear out, makes some room for O'Shea and Williams. He just slips as he tries to take off. Cleared by a region now. Jimenez finds Gamble. That's not the guy you want to give a long look to, but he passes it up.
Yeah.
I think that Rockets have just got out of that a little bit better than they could have hoped for. It's Williams straight at Gamble. Gamble makes a good stand, and it's...
Yeah, still 4-5 possessions in a row. Rockets haven't got the right shot. They haven't got what they needed. And Loughborough have just picked off. They've missed a couple, but they've picked off some. So Rockets have got to get stops, like they've got on the rebound on that one, and they've got to convert now. Got to get good offensive selection.
Decent momentum. Finds KV on the trail. Who's
KV likes it inside.
It on the floor.
Gets it over the rim. Nice move by KV live. Bish, bash, bosh.
Oh dear. Very controlled from KV. And you want some proper commentary. Controlled on the dribble. Nice spin.
But that's KV didn't have that, and this is the thing about giving younger players minutes.
Yeah, it's Hayden against KV, and it is the one thing that KV does give you, right? He's a big body, positions himself well, and it does make for certainly slightly smaller bigs, which Hayden is.
Early time,
it makes it a tougher time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we played 2.5 minutes, haven't we? And I think this is a difference in this game, because if Rockets had managed to convert on just a couple more of those, this game could be within 10 by now. And that's the frustration, I think, from Coach Keane. Timeout by Mark Jerram as well. So it'll be interesting to see, because actually they haven't done a lot of wrong offensively. Loughborough have had quite a lot of open shots. He haven't made them. So we'll just see what he goes to now. I would imagine he'll probably go to some inside offense and maybe back to that ball screen with Harrison, Gamble and Jimenez, which has created mayhem in the first half.
I think maybe we should, not on this timeout, but perhaps on the next break, just have a look at that, because not that I think for you and I it's something that we haven't seen, but they're doing much more pick and pop than they are pick and roll, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Rockets haven't defended it well yet, because Harrison's really just, it's an easy pop for him and he's wide open. So it'd just be good to see what's happening and maybe think about what do you do defensively on a pick and pop. Yeah,
and we definitely will. And if you keep an eye on those of you that don't know the teams, well, number 6, Jimenez, they're screening a lot for him so he can find himself into space. When you're such a good passer and such good footwork, giving guards like that space means he can really control where everybody goes, and he's making terrific decisions as well in this game. So he's really the glue with this offensive output.
Absolutely. Rockets back on the floor. Yeah. Tolawese, Sam Grant, KV Live, O'Shea Williams and Reese Pinnock for them. Tolawese gets inside. It's now Sam on the run out. Little runner off one foot, gets the friendly roll.
He's developed that as well, hasn't he? And Sam's now got something else to go to. If he hasn't shot the ball well, this is, good steps for Sam Grant. Pinnock now. Probably, I would say, Rockets' best perimeter defender, Mark, Reese Pinnock.
Absolutely, and this is another, like I said, a good matchup from early. Tolawese on Dietrich. Yeah. Gamble finds himself a little room and just absolutely cashes it in Sam Grant's face.
And you know what? Sam's going to be doing this in about 8 years' time to another youngster, isn't he?
They're sort of the same person.
Yeah.
But Harrison just a little bit more refined at his age.
Yeah, and Pinnock wide open, doesn't like it. I want to see Reese be brave with that one.
Finds himself a little elbow jumper. Nice rhythm.
Shut up, Matt.
He found himself in a bit of
Shut
rhythm,
up,
didn't he? Going off the dribble,
Yeah.
bit more rhythm 3 rather than the kind of catch and look.
Yeah, got to a shot he preferred, and little ball pressure on Jimenez. That's going to be a foul. That'll be Tolowazy's third.
And again, I think for me, there's a little bit of discussion there with the official, but you know, he's half a step behind, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
As soon as Jimenez turns the corner, he's half a step behind. So I don't know how much discussion there really needs to be.
Yeah. And I think this is one of the things that I think will frustrate Coach Keane as well, because you do things and you're just shading into that lead, and then you're matched up, and then you've got to make a change, and not one that you like.
Rockets caught on the switch. It's KV on Dietrich, and Dietrich just blows by him, and then it's Hayden on the rebound over Dixon, who was in that switch. Jimenez stepped back behind the three-point line and cashes another.
Yeah, I think Jimenez has got 18. I think.
I will update everybody on scorers at our next break.
Yeah.
Do you know who Jimenez
Reminds you of?
a little bit, but he's got a bit more offense about him? He's very Lloyd Gardner-y.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He really is.
Yeah.
Very,
That's a good segue, isn't it?
yeah. Well, yeah. At some point, yeah. You know, he's very probing,
Yeah.
always quite under control.
Very clever. Look at this.
Yeah.
The way
Williams
he's
with
got,
the jab step
Nice
and just
move.
blows by Jimenez.
and you can see that when
He plays defense like Lloyd too.
but that's the toughest matchup to go against Williams. And this is what we talked about, Mark. Williams just run out, and we're just going to. Rockets are just leaking, but KV Live is on the run.
The double cross spin
and hooks
put
it and
that
go,
one
oh,
in there.
wow.
And he looks gassed.
Yeah.
He's exhausted.
And I was going to say to you, the difference then between
Pick that up.
out of bounds, ref. The difference between that when Sam Grant allowed Harrison that three, that was a real getaway for Loughborough because they'd stopped offense, and Rockets have got to continue in those moments. Have got to make good decisions one-on-one defensively.
Greg Wild's in for Loughborough.
Yeah.
And now it's a 13-point ball game. A bit like you said, Matt, just eating into it a little bit. Another good possession here would be helpful.
Yeah.
Cross screen, down screen again from Rockets.
Yeah, lots of contact away from that.
There's the back screen again.
Yeah.
Sorry, not the back screen, the back cut.
Yeah.
But again, overloaded that side, didn't have the room for it.
Yeah, and that's where I think, Dixon and Pinnock and those guys, they've got a better composure on that aspect. That clearly it's not there, and we're trying to then we just need to be brave enough to not go for it.
Gamble will skip this one to Dietrich, then it's
Yeah, and here we go. Here's the 10-second pick and roll. Steps underneath, finds Gamble, well chased by Rockets. Sam Grant lets him go by him.
They'll get their own rebound.
Yeah.
On the cut is Dietrich, and he puts it in.
Yeah, and you'll see the home defence then of Rockets. Harrison goes to the rim, and Sam gets out the way of him rather than getting his body on there and taking a charge.
Sam
Gets
Grant
a
gets
chance
a better
to
look
answer
at
that
this one. Long, but a better look
First
from
one short, second
Sam.
one long, third one will be straight down the middle.
Foul in transitions on Osho and Williams. I think that's quite interesting when we were looking at the comparison between Sam Grant and Harrison Gamble, is that Sam actually, in terms of face up from the perimeter, is probably better than Harrison. In terms of
agreed.
mid-range in the post and the three, you're probably giving Harrison the advantage. So
not a lot of probably about that today, is there?
no, not at all actually. So it's just quite an interesting matchup to see, one for Sam to look at.
Yeah, and
that's David Aputu inside.
Yeah, and good out of bounds from Loughborough, but Coach Keane will be saying it's just too easy.
Pinnock, a couple of spins on the pivot. He's rebounded from his teammate Chuck, just manages to get rid of it, and it's Williams and Jimenez up top. This time goes to the three and buries the straightaway three. It's Osho and Williams off the hesitation.
Yeah, but difficult shot as well. Rockets only got 2 team fouls in this quarter, and Williams has got to keep Jimenez in front of him. There you go.
That's better.
And he's got to stay now. And that was just almost thrown away. Chuck is late out to Harrison, and Williams just pulls
Same
up
spot
for it.
Not the same result.
No. And Baines comes in for Williams. That was just about Williams' best defensive possession, I think, Mark, and kept the guy in front, kept Jimenez in front of him, and it was a totally different Loughborough offence, much more disruptive. They ended up shooting a 25-footer.
I said at halftime, I think this is what the Rockets guards are going to have to do, is just play straight up, tough, stay in front, nothing tricky.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Wild nearly throws it away, Baines just overruns that one on Belak, who's
and
more
again,
of a
no need
three-point
to
shooter than
worry.
anything else.
You don't need to help too deep because that's what Loughborough want you to do. Harrison's only scored, I think, twice in the post in his minutes and have been defended reasonably well more recently. So, little scheme there. And Rockets will want to get this under 10 going into the fourth. Let's see if Jazz Baines can give him a little bit of offense. There's the switch from Loughborough inside. Ends up with a tougher matchup for them. Ronnie's mishandled it.
Chuck tries to get himself inside as
Ronnie
Dixon
takes
5 on the shot clock. Rockets will need to hurry. Dixon on the run gets fouled and is smart from the Aussie Ben Dixon.
Yeah. And I think there's a difference, Mark, right there, that when Rockets are going to look at this one back in the after the end of the third or fourth, and they're going to look at the last 10 seconds when offense is kind of broken. For Loughborough, it's either Jimenez or Wild with the ball, and then it's an open ball screen, and with lots and lots of spacing. That's the beauty of having shooters all around you, right? And we really want to see that if it's Pinnock or it's Dixon with the ball, as he makes 1 from 2. Let's see now if Rockets back to 13. Good defense, Reece Pinnock. Got the switch already. Harrison now against that. Will Ronnie help? What will the Rockets do against this one? Good dig down, Harrison. Yeah, and as I said, we were talking about that. Harrison Gamble's his offense in the post is not anywhere near as good as it is from the three-point line. He's lighter on his feet. He's not a heavy-set athlete, so you can actually get underneath him. And as you saw him, he lost his balance. So Rockets I thought, did a really good job then, and that was Pinnock. So Harrison will look back at that one and he'll probably go and dunk it on someone in the next minute just to shut me up.
He'll certainly bury a 3, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's Williams come back into the game. Jimenez reaching over him. Baines. Be good to see Jazz Baines knock a couple in.
He hasn't shot.
No.
His first one tonight, you think?
First shot attempt. But you need to get a few of those out of your system, and if we can get another one out of his system going into the fourth, it's going to really help the perimeter firepower of the Rockets, who are defending much better now with this group. 3-guard look. Seen it quite a lot. Dixon in charge of Jimenez.
21
into the ball screen.
Victor and Dooku's checked in for Loughborough.
Yeah.
It's Gamble at the top of the key.
Yeah.
Here's this pick and pop Matt that we were talking about, but he rolls this time and it's Belak on the lift.
Yeah. Down to 3 seconds, double dribble, travel, whatever you want.
3 seconds, any
3
of it.
seconds.
We'll take
all of it.
We'll take all of it.
Offside. And there it is. Here it comes on the replay. Brilliant replays thanks to the stream team. The Dream Stream team.
Number 1 in the country for streaming.
There he goes. There goes Mark.
I've poetic license.
I think you're all related, aren't you, Mark? The way you go on about it, like your family.
I won't. Well, yeah.
Big score needed for Rockets now, Mark. Last
stayed at 13, hasn't it? Hasn't
back
moved
screen,
anywhere.
Williams at the top.
Here's a good
Belak.
matchup again. If we need to exploit it, but the problem is on the switch. I think that's unhelpful.
Littrell.
Defending well. 2,
1. Good
Wild,
defense
good
by
hands.
Wild. Yeah.
But again, I think there's something by design there that's breaking down, right? You get Belak on O'Shea Williams, who is not as good a perimeter defender as some of the other guys.
Yep.
I think you spread out then, do you? Spread out, give him a look at it.
Yeah, and that's without a dedicated 5. So when you're going for Williams is all over this as well, and he's going to go straight up with that.
Needs to put that in.
He's going to get his hands on that one. We all know that.
We always need Ronnie to get that one.
Littrell needs to bury one. Just comes out. Ronnie gets his hands on another one. Good minute.
We'll dream of a team of Ogekways. No,
that doesn't rhyme.
It does. It's not supposed to rhyme.
Just you can't just say it in a West Country accent just to make it rhyme.
I'm going to get a football chant going for Ronnie soon.
Yeah, Coach Jeremiah as well, frustrated with some of those calls. He's in the ref's ear. So just see, he'll want something coming here. Ogekwe can't make that happen. Goes into good catch by Chuck. Baines
needs to get himself going here.
Hands him off. Luttrell with another one, and that looked better, but just bodies everywhere. Baines takes a charge, referee's all over it. Referee Tim Brown.
Better from Baines, that will keep him on the floor a little longer.
Yeah, important as well, that. Annoying as well when you're the guy going at the basket and these little guys run in front of you and stop. I hate it.
Basketball. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
That was Nduku on the offensive foul.
But we've seen 6 possessions go now with Rockets not being out, and this is part of the issue when they've got only really Chuck who's scored and a Showen.
It's I don't want to say that the influence of Mark Jerram there has got himself a call, but I'm going to say I think he's got himself a call.
Yeah, and I watched the last 2 or 3 possessions, and it's the same offense that they've run, and it's been the same level of contact. So now we can expect to see that one. So Jazz will make a slight adjustment. But we've seen now Luttrell's missed 3 threes. We've had Jazz miss a 3. We've had a Showen miss an open shot as well. So there's been lots of attempts for Rockets whilst they've been defending much, much better.
Just staying at home on Gamble, probably a smart move here.
And Maitland has got to stay in front of him and doesn't.
And he counts it.
And referee counts that one.
Good continuation.
Yeah. And see that? You could see that on the replay. And I think we're probably going to see Loughborough in the press straight after this. So Rockets should be aware of this one. Want to get a score now.
So time to score again. It has opened up just a little bit. It was stayed at 13 for much of the period.
And there's the ball screen. 2. And O'Showen Williams.
Halfway down from O'Showen Williams, but again defended well. I think, like I said, I think in those situations, I like O'Showen on his own.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs a ball screen to bring another defender at him. I'd rather go 1-on-1 and make Loughborough run another defender at him to have someone open.
Yeah, and I think this is something that coaches will be looking at this tape as well, because it's so good for both teams to look at the schemes of offense and schemes of defense that each are running at you, and what favours you and what doesn't favour you. And sometimes you actually don't know until you have a really good look at it and think, well, we thought this was good for us, so we've run that, and it actually has been better the other way. So a lot of the time, the review of the film is so important to coaches, and the quicker the players can get after it, the better. Because this game feels like it's closer than 16, right?
Yeah.
This game feels like it is, because Rockets have got about 6 stops, 7 stops, maybe 8 stops out of the last 10 possessions, defended valiantly. But the weakness of that group defensively is they can't get the right shot offensively. They've ended up being either shots that they're not making, with a number of threes that have been left out there, or not being able to get to the free throw line. And again, probably not having a recognised big that they can throw it into and get fouled. So, they're using a Getway, and credit to KV Live when he was in, managed to get a couple of scores as well and balance that up a bit. But equally, a Getway gives you, offensive rebounds and probably slightly better defence. So I think it's one of the things that, Coach Keen's, that's a very tricky balance to get right, because you almost want to sub offence for defence. What's your point there?
I've just broken my red nose for one. I don't know what I've done to it.
Have
anyway,
you broken the red nose? That's my son's red nose.
I'm really sorry.
I hope he's not watching. He'll be in tears now.
What I was going to say was, you need to get your coaching hat on, because we've been here in this scenario, what feels like pretty much every week you and I have been together for the last kind of few weeks, which is not an unsurmountable but a very large hole to be in going into the fourth, and Coach Keen's got to figure out how's he going to get his way out of this.
Yesterday, right, down 17 with 5 to go, and had a 3 to tie with 45 seconds to go. Had 2 wide open threes to tie at Barking Abbey. So this is a group that has they know how to fight back as well. They've got some real character in there, and there's enough offense from the guys that are on the floor, but they've got to make it happen.
And again, thanks everybody for joining us. 139 with us just at the minute.
Yep. Just a reminder for those we can't quite get these incredibly high-tech cameras to the corners because we're at JMA, as Owen Williams makes one, and that's the best start Rockets could have wanted. But yeah, we'll do our very best, and that's close in the mid-court. Good defence by Baines. Perimeter guys got to keep the Loughborough perimeter in front. They can't, but they throw it away. Can
Maitland on the drive, drops one off to O'Shawn, who's made his last over Nduku, and it's a wedgie.
Yeah, and it is a wedgie, Mark. And this is I think the advancement of Williams. He's got the centre out on him with a hand down, so he's saying, yeah, I like the look of that one, but now you made a three, attack the basket, get someone else a shot, because this is the thing. Rockets are going to need to get Jazz Baines are going to need to score. Reece Pinnock's going to need to score. They're going to need to put some pressure on. They've slowed Loughborough down, but Rockets still only scored 59.
This is Goodser into Nduku, who's using a lot of arm there, and he's called I think that's what do you call that? It's the travel after what was pretty an obvious offensive foul.
I don't know if it's obvious, Mark.
No, it was obvious to me.
Oh. I'll just remind you that you're not a qualified official.
I
don't think you're qualified in anything, are you?
Not really.
There's that cross screen as well.
And there's the fade screen.
Yeah. And Pinnock shoots it. And
which way is this going then?
It's going to go against the Riders.
It's on Chester Morrell, that one.
Yeah, and the problem with Chester playing is that he can't be commenting on our streams. And Chester was on the stream yesterday, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Someone will correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay, big fan of that. If you're a fan of the show, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
This is Williams again, who wants to get this going. Nice cut from Pinnock. Handed off to Getway and just doesn't get it to go. A nice bit of offense there from the Rockets. It's Pinnock on the baseline cut, Ronnie Getway on the dive, and nearly gets the and one to go.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the best interplay, Mark, that we've seen from Rockets for a while. It's gone into the post. They've helped on Williams. Ronnie dive cut. Needs to knock a couple of these in, really. First one, looked long and a bit to the right. So needs to just adjust that one. Important free throws, as they all are. And that one's long as well. And again, so Coach Keane gets really good offense, but doesn't get the reward from it.
Still a 13-point game. Rockets hoping to close this gap. They need more stops.
Yeah. And there's the problem there when they missed Harrison Gamble, and that's the problem.
Yep.
Jimenez comes back in.
And that was Goodser on the drive. And this will probably be close to the closing group, I would have thought, for Loughborough. Pretty much four starters back on the floor.
You may see Wild back in.
Wild or a Regia back in.
Yeah, possibly Belak, but I would think this group he'll try and build the next 5 minutes will be important now, because if this game's within 8 or 9.
Breakdown again, and it's Pinnock who just takes it by himself, throws one up with a running one-hander, and Ronnie tries to save another.
Yeah.
It's a jump ball.
Yeah, both on the floor.
Okay. Good call.
Dixon in.
I've always got a lot of time for Ronnie, you know.
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
As I can see Coach Keane in the corner of my eye speaking with Jazz again, who I think is not quite getting the continuity of it all yet, as Chuck goes inside, should get that one to go in. It's a Getway on the board, and he'll put it in by Ronnie Getway.
An 11-point game, 8 minutes to go. Important now. Defensively, this is an absolute key time now, Mark. Next 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, it's down to 11.
Especially those perimeter guys.
Who throws inside to Gamble. Gamble gets the kick to Dietrich.
Williams leaves Dietrich, misses him totally. And Rockets get away with one. And Pinnock
changes direction, gets inside,
and no foul
throws it away, and Getway gets another one.
He gets whacked, gets it again.
Ronnie needs to find a guy, and he does.
Great composure by the young man. And Williams gets
with
hit.
The contact.
Should be making that as well.
Hayden comes across with the body and just can't get it to go. Is O'Shawn Williams, as we see the drive, and there's the contact. Would be disappointed with himself. He can't finish.
Yeah,
and that's timeout.
And what a good sign that is for Coach Keane, that Coach Jerome has now been forced into a timeout, and he's frustrated as well. He's just subbed his best group in, and they've not got offense, and they've just given up offensive rebounds for young Getway as well, which tears the heart out of your defense. And there's a moment now for this Rockets team to just continue on this little charge. They've got it to 11. They've got a couple of free throws coming, I think, haven't they? And they've got Loughborough Riders now on 3 team fouls. So I would like to see in the next 3 minutes some more team fouls for Rockets. Why? Because they've got to be right in the moment now. They've got to get this moment right. 3-4 minutes for them to get this into an end game. And I honestly think if they can get this to an end game, they could get over the line.
Chance to cut it to 9 after the free throws, which aesthetically will give them a bit of a boost that it's in single digits.
Yeah, which it hasn't been for a long time.
And as you said, Matt, there's only 3:30 gone in this quarter, or 2:30 gone in this quarter. Excuse me. They're on 0 team fouls, which again sort of shapes you up nicely if you do get yourself into an end game that you can stop the clock and try and force turnovers.
Yep.
So it will be O'Shea and Williams on the line.
Yeah, and if you just have a look, I don't actually remember who's shooting these.
It's definitely O'Shea and Williams.
Yeah.
No question whatsoever. No question. If they need us to, we can roll out the footage.
Yeah, we can VAR it.
We've got VAR up here. We can get it done. No question. Just as we take a little break, it is O'Shea and Williams who leads all scorers with 24. Carl Jimenez has got 21 for the Riders. Harrison been stuck around 18, 19 for the best part of the period. In the third, Jimenez has 11 assists, so he has himself a double-double already.
Yeah.
And also has 4 rebounds. So he's doing a guy who averages over 10 assists a game is already hit his... Yeah, it is incredible and has already hit his season number.
And
friendly
Rockets,
roll, and it's under
10. So
this is goods up.
Can Rockets perimeter, and they've just
nearly
just done it, haven't they?
Picked again.
But that's the balance bit. That's the bit where I think that's the little bit of maturity. So that's the bit of maturity where we're diving in to try and spill loose balls. We've done a great job on the ball. Everyone's under pressure, and now 2 of the guards go for it, and then we leave somebody wide open. We're going to have to look at those moments and make really good decisions. Senior guys make senior decisions about knowing that the ball's in trouble. I don't need to leave my guy now. I don't need to risk that.
Yeah, my feeling there is, like I said, if that does go to him and he scores it from 3, that's back-breaking, isn't it? When you've got yourself, as I said, at single digits, he should push this back open again to 11, which he does. Sam Grant about to check in for Chuck Daru. Ronnie stays with the minutes he's give him.
And I think I was saying yesterday that it's really hard for coaches because you've got to coach the game, not the name as well. And Ronnie's giving second and third possessions and is continuing to do that. So good for him. Sam's going to need to come in now, and he's going to either need to get some. They need Sam for offense, really, and he's straight at Harrison into the little hook, and good Ronnie move. Gets his hands on it again. But I like that, Mark. I like that.
Nearly
Nice
tips
move.
it in. Better offense as well from Rockets. Simple, but Sam knew what he was going to do on the catch.
Yeah, but you're attacking Harrison, who hasn't been led to foul hardly at all.
Yep.
And O'Shea needs to just keep his feet in this matchup. 5-second call. And I think young Greg Wild's going to look at that and say he had O'Shea in the air. He should have beaten him one-on-one. But credit to O'Shea. Great energy, great effort. Trying to drag his team back into this.
It's the Riders by 11. This is Sam Grant, who again throws it away. That's again by design. I think that back cut on the continuity is by design, right?
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
He's throwing it to him. He's just lost focus.
It's by design, but then they're not seeing the same thing. Pinnock's deciding that's a back cut, and Sam's just throwing it to open air.
Jimenez screen and roll.
Yeah, and then Sam's just left Harrison.
Given up to Dixon. Dixon out on the run. Goes at Gamble. Lays
Good
it in.
finish, Dixon. They go to 9. 6 minutes to go.
Tell you what, if you haven't told your friends about this one, I said it'd be a good one.
Yeah, Gamble. And there's Greg Wild. And wow. Sam Grant will be frustrated at that. Straight off the scouting report, Greg Wild.
Chase the guy off the line.
Yeah, absolutely. Williams goes back under it, finds Sam now, spins over Gamble and misses again.
This is where they need to be careful, right?
Yeah, Coach Keane's going to have to decide now whether he stays with Sam foul called. He's have to decide. I think the answer is going to be no, because Sam T's coming in.
Again, what I really do like to see there from Ronnie is, Hayden's
Yeah, you can see it from behind. Yeah.
He's super athletic. He's turning and he's thinking dunk. And Ronnie's gone, you know what? I'm having a bit of that.
Yeah.
Let's go challenge it. And I can't give enough respect for that sort of thing, especially from a young guy. He's not ducking out of the way of it.
No, absolutely.
Chance to end up on a poster. He says, no, I'm going to go for it anyway.
Yep. Good foul, well.
Yep.
This is the first one. And interesting, Mark, because Ronnie comes out now, and so that means Coach Keane's staying with Sam Grant, who's missed a couple of chippies and turned it over. So good confidence from Coach Keane in the youngster. You'll like that, I know.
Yep.
There's the away screen. Sam's got it. Wide open. That one's going in. Or it's not.
It's a shame. If he gets a couple of those to go, we're probably
absolutely
a little bit closer. It's Loughborough back up to 13, leading 78-65 with about 5 to go. It's Wild going at Dixon. Nice crossover from right to left. Gets inside, flips it up and makes it.
Yeah.
Beautiful from Greg Wild, who just flipped it up with the spin and it manages to go.
Yeah, I think we said about 2-3 minutes ago, would that be the group that gets you there? And I said, I think you might see Greg Wild come in. And not only has he come in, and one of the things, he hasn't had a really positive offensive game in the first half. But look at that for a young player. Comes in, backs himself with a transition 3. He then sets up Dixon, goes slices between them, and then gets himself fouled and composure to finish it. Just misses the free throw. 15-point game.
Williams gets Hayden in the air. He's against Dietrich now as Tolawase gets himself a nice touch. Great pivot from Tolawase, and he's very dangerous down there off the pivot. Yeah,
and interesting because now it's Sam T and KV. So pressure now is going to be on Sam T to get some points, to get some scoring, and also on the perimeter guys now to keep these matchups. Harrison's going to like the look of KV.
But KV at least gets him off the 3-point line. It's a decent bit of defence. Hayden inside just misses right in front of the rim. Gamble finds himself wide open.
Wild,
he made the last one, and he makes another huge shot back to back from Greg Wild.
And I'll say,
there's the back cut.
Yeah, and gets the roll. Great pass.
You only called that in the first quarter.
Yeah,
empty post. There you go.
The time. Yeah, but that's the dribble out where Dixon dribbles right at the guards, and it's nearly stolen away. Tolawase just pushing into
fine KV
right
on the shot
there.
clock. Hayden down the lane, and he flips one up with the left, doesn't get it to go, and still at 14 and just can't quite get over this hump. They've got it as low as 9 in this fourth period, but
14
nothing doing.
And with 2 threes, and 3 3-point plays really from Wild, and 2 of those are really defendable as well. So coach going to be frustrated. Sam T, I think, may have fouled out. Is that his 4th or his 5th?
It's got to be close to fouling out. I didn't see the scorers table actually, because I was watching Chuck Duru check in from the baseline, which is not usual in normal times, but he literally ran from the baseline into the game.
Yeah, just come right on in there.
So back up to 15. That should make it a 16-point ball game. And this one, I know I said insurmountable. It wasn't early on. It's creeping into that area now.
Yeah,
Duru down low against Hayden will just turn and go for the flip up to the right.
By Hayden.
Blocked well. Pinnock tries to save it. He's on the floor, and as an ex-Loughborough guy, his coach is over there picking him up off the floor.
Yep. And you'll see, Mark, Rockets have scored 69 after scoring 42 at half-time, I think it was. And so it's going to be one of the things that I think some of it is more about not getting the production from specific players throughout the game. So they're going to need to look at that. There's a number of players that are giving high offensive production in one game and then very little in the other game. So some of that is to do with the shot selection and getting into the right shots, right rhythm. We saw Chuck do had a really nice first quarter, 6 or 8 points, and then hasn't had the opportunities maybe he'd have liked to have done, but has contributed really well.
Worth noting, no Leon Francis this evening. Guy who averages about 18 and 10 on the year.
Yep.
So definitely a bit of production down from Reading. Interesting, in our group chat yesterday, Danny Carter referred to him as a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, interesting.
Leome as a 3 is a scary thought in my head.
Him running at you as a 3, yeah.
This is Dixon over to Pinnock, and they will need to start scoring quick. Reese goes to the step back, way off.
Yep. Out of bounds.
KV still fighting for it. Lots of instructions being shouted by Coach Alan Keane there on the sideline, who I can hear through my headset, which means he must be pretty loud on the floor. Yep. So, with 2 timeouts to go for each team, fouls to give from... Oh, it's actually flipped the other way. It will be Loughborough going to the line after Osho and fouls. And with the foul count where it is, Mark Jerome has 2 timeouts left. 3 minutes, 9 odd possessions left in this. It's going to be a tall order here for the Rockets.
Yeah, and I think, with the way that Loughborough have managed themselves in the game, the gap's way too far now. And particularly with, I think, the Rockets haven't really shown enough firepower from enough areas of the floor, so they've not had enough scoring perimeter guys.
Pinnock
As
down
Pinnock
the lane.
Somehow shovels at him with his left hand.
Extremely fast north to south is Reese Pinnock. Yeah. He gets his hands on
Look
that
at
one.
that.
He needs to put this one in as well. Goes underneath with the pretty up and under. Doesn't get it to go. Does he try and get some contact and score there? This is Gamble. He'll find Dietrich in the corner. This goes, could be a killer.
Yep.
And it goes, and
that's the confidence, isn't it? That's the confidence of the shooter, where you shoot the ball early, even with 2:40 to go. Yeah. And every coach in the country is saying, hold the ball. But, you dial your own number, and he's missed 2 from there already. I think that's a real good quality for that.
I've got a question for you, Matt, and I think you and I, in our private conversations, have kind of been talking this through for weeks now, probably. Yep. Coming in today, we were chatting with Coach Josh Thorne prior to coming in, and Thorney was really clear on the identity of Loughborough. He knew what they were doing. He's not an active NBL men's head coach. He knew coming in, I've watched them, I get it, I know the personnel.
Yeah.
They're going to play open, they're going to shoot a lot, he knows. If we're asking the same thing about Reading, what is their identity? What do they do? What are teams thinking about?
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what is really there is the energy, the effort, the bravery, all those sorts of things. And so defensively, the Rockets have a really strong identity. But there's decision making, and more often than not, you talk about teams' identity on offense. Very rarely do people define themselves as like their identity is defensively. That will be part of it, and every coach will want to talk about their own team's defense. And you cannot fault the effort of Sam, Chuck. They go all the way through that. There's energy, there's effort, there's loose balls, there's physical, combative, but the technical proficiency in the decision making of Loughborough means they're able to find their guy. If you think Conroy Hayden has been out there, hasn't shot a 3 yet, hasn't needed to either. Yet Harrison Gamble has shot a bunch, because that's actually the things that he does really, really well for the team.
Yep, and it's Duru foul line jumper.
And right on the money, right?
And that's the type of shot he makes.
Absolutely. And that's Chuck Duru. Oh, that... Good call, that one. And that's one that we've seen a bit of this, actually. I was talking to referee assessor Richard Stokes and saying it's something that players and coaches need to get a better understanding of. If there's a player in the air receiving the ball, you have to allow him to land. And right, we had one in the first quarter, which was Satautus, as Harrison makes another one. But it's a good one for young players to be aware of. If you're defending someone in the air, you have to allow them landing space.
Just a really good look of ex-Rocket Harrison Gamble, who's spent time in the BBL, been one of the elite shooters in the BBL, and now here in NBL Division 1. Has he recently become a dad? Is that recent?
Yeah, recently, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. Fantastic news.
Yeah, really good to see. And
his wife, Jodie.
What a gift for us, by the way, in NBL 1 to get a guy of his calibre back in and playing big minutes. Huge for the league.
Harrison goes out, 20 points. BBL veteran, must have played 10 years in the BBL or something.
But he's got a pretty full trophy cabinet as well from being there.
Yeah, right. And I would say, Mark, if you saw the last possession of the Rockets had, Pinnock looking for Williams, just throws it straight out of bounds. Good hands.
Just a good stand from Ronnie as well early on. He's good giving up probably 20-30 pounds in that matchup.
In his leg.
He's got the centre of his chest in a good position and just takes some contact.
Absolutely.
Pleasing to see.
Yep.
Chester Morrell back in for Loughborough.
Yep, up 20.
Jonas Dietrich takes a seat, and that will probably be him done for the evening. Gamble's got the warm-up on and the trainers off, so I think that's he's decided he's done.
Yeah.
Oh no, the trainers are still on.
They're just very white.
They're just very
like
white.
Socks.
I'm lying.
And there's
Hard roll by Ronnie, should leave Chuck open, and he does. Back rooms this one, Dixon with a skying rebound. Then Ronnie tries to put one in.
Yeah, I was just referring like a couple of possessions ago between Reese and Ocho, and just when guys are not quite on the same page as each other, that sort of decision making, the ball just goes flying out of bounds, happens. Like that again. It's the same sort of tough shot there from Ronnie, not able to get his balance underneath him and tries to scoop it up. Greg Wild and Loughborough just run this out now. Into the ball
just
screen.
Over a minute to go, 20 to go. This is Wild, who's been hit a couple of killer threes.
Yeah. Great rebound by Loughborough as well.
And Tifo on the board. Pinnock clears eventually, tries to go down the lane. It's Duru through Dixon. They'll go screen and roll. It's open on the near side. Skip to Reese, trying to get himself a bit of room. Goes screen and roll with Ronnie, but very, very difficult spacing. Ronnie will get down the lane. He'll think about what he's going to do. He needs to turn and hook this one in, Ronnie. Bit of space and works himself room.
Yeah,
Great
he'll see that film as well, and he'll see that he can get his feet there, and all the coaches will have done a lot of work with that little right-hand hook over your body.
Yep.
Coach Jimmy Guyman taught that for many, many years, and most juniors have seen Solent's program with a lot of good jump hook.
Only real hoopers will have seen the Jimmy Guyman VHS from the early days, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
If anybody on the stream has seen that DVD video, I want to know about it. That was in Tifo inside.
Yeah, and
this is Morrell. He'll pull up for one.
Yeah.
Misses, and this one will be all she wrote.
Yeah.
13 seconds to go. Chuck's going to keep playing. Loughborough will keep defending. Goes to the line. He's fouled by Cano. Goods up.
Yeah, and I'd say, Mark, as part of, with 8 seconds to go, as Chuck will go to the line to try and knock a pair down here. And we'll start to see the quarter splits as well, as Rockets Loughborough were on course to score 120, if we remember. There's Chuck. Just knocks that one in. And so Rockets defensively have made some real strides in this second half, but almost without the balance for offense. So we've got groups coming in doing a really good job defensively, but struggling to find their offense with that. And that's part of the discussion you were having, because players now have to play both sides of the ball.
And this will do it.
Yep.
The Loughborough Riders come down south, take an 18-point win. They win 95-77, and the inconsistency and the struggles continue for Reading just a little bit. Matt, before we get your kind of thoughts on Reading, what do you think of the game overall?
I think you're seeing a group that's well sort of versed in their identity, their way of playing. It's something that Coach Durham's done for many, many years here. He's got the luxury of bringing in Harrison Gamble from the BBL team as well, and done a really, really nice job there. And then you've got Rockets still trying to find players that are able to play both sides of the ball, play defensively with the energy that nearly every one of them is bringing, but then finding the same groups being able to convert offensively as well. And that's something that you can see from most teams around the league now, is players that have to play multiple positions offensively and defensively. So there's challenges for both teams as well. Loughborough will have a challenge to try and step up and beat some of the big guys as well. They've got really close, and certainly there's a talented roster there. And Rockets will go away from that. They'll look at this film. They'll have a look at that. They'll hope Leon Francis comes back in, gives them a bit of muscle as well, and just a bit more inside scoring. And that often can give you a bit of balance as well. So we've seen some progress. I think Agekwe, KV Live, we've seen some progress. But, there's other guys. We didn't. Sam Grant wasn't able to score today as much, and that's something that he'll want to improve on because he started the game really well. And certain things like that, you can see. There's future in this in both of these groups, and it's really interesting to see how the coaches manage this journey from now on. As you see a shot here of Pinnock and his ex-teammates having a quick catch-up. It's great, especially in this times that we've got. Very difficult for guys to actually have physical confrontation together. And just actually a bit of time to discuss after the game because everyone's saying, come on, time to go, got to get out of here, no showers, get on the bus.
Yeah, no showers, get on the bus seems an awful prospect.
Yeah, it does.
Just looking at I'm just having a really quick scan of the box score, right?
Yeah.
O'Shea Williams leads the way for Reading with 28 points, and then the next scorer is Chuck Duru with 14, which is probably well above and Chuck's season average, and then
10 in the first half for Chuck, I think.
And 10 or so in the first half, and then beyond that, it's 6s, it's 2s, it's a 6, it's an 8. Like there's just something not quite clicking. Like you said, you sort of need a Sam Grant to be up at 12, 13, and a few others to be pushing like.
Well, you
plus
would have
10.
had Leon was averaging 18 as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a drop off in production, right? Like I think that's there'll be no questions on that. I just think there's something to be figured out, isn't there, for guys to be getting their shots and knocking down the shots that they take, a bit like Chuck has today. He's knocked down the stuff that he's good at.
Absolutely.
And beyond that, has done nothing else.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that derogatory.
And I'll roll the clock back a few years because Coach Tippers used to say that if your number 7 is called and someone presses number 7, he wants to know what number 7 looks like, and that is like Chuck Duru tonight. You press the number, and when you push his number, you're going to step up and you're going to get that 15-foot jump shot. You're going to get the little one-on-one in the post, that sort of stuff. But you get what you're supposed to get. And then the coach's jobs, both sides, is to manage to get the players as well as they can to get that. So that's the journey of Coach Keane and his assistant coaches, and the same as it is for Mark Jerram, because if Harrison doesn't knock down half those shots in the first half, this game is very, very different. And if Sam Grant knocks down a couple of those ones, this game is very, very different. But that's the way it goes, and that's the journey that players have to live on. And it's you're supposed to be out there, and you're supposed to knock them down under pressure, and you're supposed to also find. I think the one thing that Coach Keane will look for is better decisions in the last 10 seconds of shot clock when the offense is broken and it's not quite there. I think if he looks at that, which he'll look at absolutely everything. When the players look at that, we'll say, well, what have we got? We've got O'Shea Williams who's going to the bucket, but other than that, I think you've seen Loughborough with that pick and roll with Jimenez and Harrison Gamble that gives them a real get out at the end of nearly every offense with good floor spacing. So I think there's some journey there for both teams, Mark, as we know, and we know we're privileged just to be here, and as we all say, a huge thanks to everyone that makes it possible. But great to see these teams. What great competition, and the game, even when it was 15-16, felt like it was a 5-pointer. So really, really good one to be able to see.
Definitely did. I'm just going to go through some of the leaders to prove my point and to wrap up. Unlike me,
so we'll finish on you being correct.
Somewhat, yeah. Just looking at points for Rockets, O'Shea Williams leads the way with 28.
Yep.
Chuck's got 14, and the next is Tolawese, Pinnock and Sam with kind of 8, 6, 6. And then on the Loughborough side, Carl Jimenez leads away with 23, Harrison gets 21, Dietrich gets 19, Hayden gets 15, and do you see what I mean? I think that's talking about the balance I was mentioning. Beyond that,
the way they got their points as well would be what you were referring to.
What you'd expect them to do.
Harrison shot a bunch of threes.
Yeah. Hayden snagged 14 rebounds and ended up with 15 points at the same time. So it kind of, he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Yep.
So Hayden leads away with 14 rebounds, Harrison with 9, and Ronnie Agekwe with 6. So good to see him, and Jimenez with 11 assists, and then this Williams, Gamble, Dixon, Pinnock all with a bunch of 4s and 3s. So usual suspects. I think we kind of pretty much got what we were thinking. So before we wrap up, just gives us a bit of time to thank the sponsors today. Great Outdoor Gym Company, just smashing it for us again.
Absolutely, and you heard from Georgie Delaney as well on the link, and they're up in Scotland enjoying this wonderful weather as well as a family, so I hope they enjoy themselves.
Yep.
So thank you to them, and get on the app.
And everybody else behind us.
Oh yeah,
Pure Gym, Coral, everybody.
Jimmy at Decathlon.
Jimmy at Decathlon.
Yeah, because I sat in front of that sign and it was just coming out of my ear yesterday. So
did he mention it and say,
he just said,
"Get your head out the way"?
Get your big head out the way.
So yeah, everybody on there, appreciate all your support as always.
Yeah.
Gives us just a bit of time to thank the Stream team for everything they do in the background.
Yep.
And gives us a bit of time to just say goodbye, and we will see you next time.
And Mark meant to say Happy Mother's Day.
I did. Happy Mother's Day, everybody, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
Our gyms generate electricity when you exercise. We use this energy for charging phones and lighting spaces. We also plant a tree for every piece we install, and we've even made a gym from recycled aerosol cans.
We've done a lot in the last 10 years, but the best is yet to come. Our gyms will support ocean cleanups and tree planting programs to protect the environment.
The Great Outdoor Gym Company aims to be the greenest and greatest gym chain in the world.
Let's make a difference.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
We're in!